Hello, my name is Gordon Jack. For my fifth year architecture studies, I have come on an international exchange to the Technical University of Eindhoven in the south of the Netherlands, a school of architecture which I had previously attended for 6 months during my third year. As part of this exchange, I have begun a thesis proposal here within the Netherlands, and on my return to Scotland in January, I will continue on the project for the following second semester at the University of Strathclyde. For my final year, I have decided to explore the field of urban design, and I have come to the capital and largest city in the Netherlands to continue my dissertation topic of Living on the Edge, an investigation into how blighted industrial waterfront landscapes are transformed into neighbourhoods and places to live and work. Amsterdam, the capital and largest city of the Netherlands. With nearly 800,000 residents in the centre of the city, and with Amsterdam being the fifth busiest tourist destination in Europe with more than 4.2 million international visitors, it is a busy and exciting place to live, work and visit. Beginning its life as a small fishing village in the late 12th century on the River Amstel, Amsterdam has grown into a world-famous city rich in history and culture. The city's layout is a result of extremely concise city planning, with its carefully considered canals and waterways being carved out as the population grew, to create dikes from which the city resides on today. In the 19th and 20th century, Amsterdam experienced a series of large-scale developments to the south and to the west, and has continued to grow, including the introduction of large commercial industries in Amsterdam, which has led to the development of Amsterdam Zuid and Amstel, two areas with Manhattan-style architecture, hosting accommodation for corporate banks and insurance firms. And to the east, there is currently a large-scale development planned on the artificial islands known as Eiberg, an area completely man-made which will host up to 18,000 new homes and provide 12,000 new places of employment. Since the 14th century, the main reason for Amsterdam's flourish was due to the trade with the Hanseatic Sea League, an alliance of trading guilds that established and maintained a trade monopoly along the coast of northern Europe, from the Baltic to the North Sea during the late Middle Ages and early modern period. Once in the heart of the city, this huge shipping trade slowly moved westwards towards the mouth of the River Ij. This fact alone is the reason for some of Amsterdam's modern waterside landscapes today being left with the remains of 6 centuries worth of skilled and particulate land and waterscaping. Over the past 30 years, Amsterdam City Council has now been focusing their attention into the redevelopment of these now blighted landscapes. Most identifiable and most visited part of these landscapes are areas surrounding Central Station and the Oosterdok. As part of the city's plans to bring contemporary cultural and community-based public buildings to the river, large-scale public buildings such as the Science Centre Nemo by Renzo Piano and Danish firm 3XN's new concert hall, and Joe Coenen & Co. Amsterdam Public Library and City Museum create a large number of destinations to visit on the waterfront. Further east of the Oosterdok is a number of large sections of redevelopment on docklands, the largest sector designed by Rotterdam's Westgate urban design firm. This dockland is called the Borneo Sporenburg, one of the most celebrated contemporary examples of dense urban housing within a Western European context. And as mentioned previously, most recently the development of Eiberg, the residential neighbourhood currently under construction in the east of Amsterdam. It is situated on the Ij Lake and is being built on artificial lands which have been raised from the lake. But what is the future for the north of the Ij? It too once was a predominant area for marine industry, but has a very different aesthetic from the south bank. Over the past 30 years, it has been an interest of Amsterdam City Council's planning division to redevelop these industrial landscapes over the next coming 20 to 30 years. Already they had seen some small redevelopments in the 1980s and 1990s as part of an urban regeneration scheme for the north. But it is only in the past 5 years which Amsterdam City's planning division have pushed for real solutions for these continually blighting landscapes. First of which is section North 5, an industrial dock famous for its recognisable Shell headquarters tower. Named after this striking tower, Overhoeks will be a place to live, work, visit, go out and enjoy leisure facilities. In the coming years, Amsterdam will be building 2,200 residences, several municipal facilities, office spaces, hotels, restaurants and cafes in this area. Amsterdam will also build a city park for this new location. The park, which will be built on the waterfront of the Eye, will provide a new home for the film museum. This will also include a number of high-rise buildings which will offer uniquely pleasant views of the city and its surroundings, and Amsterdam will have a new skyline. As well as these new proposals, the city has also run a number of architecture and urban design competitions. Architecture firms and students were invited to make proposals for the north sector of North 5, an area which is due to be cleared for redevelopment within 15 years. From this, Amsterdam City Council plan to gradually expand this development to the west along the north bank and to tackle the redevelopments of the industrial landscapes of North 1, 4 and 5, landscapes which are already being cleared for redevelopment over the next 20 to 30 years. The industrial sites to the east of this redevelopment, currently a chemical plant and industrial estate, are also becoming a subject of scrutiny with the urban planning sector, with hopes that this site will become available in the near future to allow for the River Eye to become much more a part of the urban landscape. These sites pose difficult questions as to how we relate these areas of landscapes back to the historical core of Amsterdam. However, they gave great opportunity to study the relationship between contemporary and history planning issues in such close proximity, and understand how water such as the River Eye can act as a disconnecting device, allowing two areas in such close proximity to function successfully independently of one another. Amsterdam's final goal is to successfully interlink these new developments with the old city structure, while still allowing them to function as separate entities within a wider context. Inevitably, the North Bank will become developed, and the continuing redevelopment plans on the South Bank will transform the city's river into a busy and vibrant international and cultural hub. Through my dissertation last year, I became very interested in the process of waterfront development. As well as the Borneo Spoorweg in Amsterdam, I have researched the recent developments in Haven City in Hamburg, one of Europe's largest urban design schemes, right in the heart of the urban core. Just south of Amsterdam, the city of Rotterdam has set precedence in the way it's managed and developed its docklands, since it was the largest shipping port in Europe and the busiest docklands in the world. It has vast acres of disused landscapes which are still experiencing ongoing developments today. And many major cities in Scandinavia and Northern Europe are experiencing large and small developments. The Ruolahti Canal housing development in Helsinki, shown here, is just one example of many countries exploiting the appealing properties of waterfront living. And even in Glasgow, the city has seen vast changes in its skyline on the River Clyde, with mass redevelopment ongoing along both north and south banks of the river. The location of the docklands on the north bank of the Eye also give very interesting studies into the relationship not only with the main historical core, but also with their immediate surrounding and the historical centres of the north, a sector of Amsterdam which has grown as part of and significantly separate and disjointed from the main structure of the city. This large area of the city, a quite unknown and unexplored part of the famous Amsterdam, will certainly be altered by any significant public buildings brought into the north. The relationship of the waterfront with the old towns of Nieuwendam, Buurtslot and Buurtsloterdijk will be a part of the study in proposing any plan for the development of these new landscapes. In the course of the coming year, my intention is to study the general topics of the redevelopment of city docklands, with particular focus on Amsterdam North District and its development of formal industrial docklands. The project will consist of an urban planning design for the considered area, with an emphasis on sustainable development within the building with water concept. Building with Water is part of a wider national programme called Living with Water, and has a main design component, a pilot project for wet urban quarters with waterproof and water-conscious type of houses. My expectations are to understand not only the basic concepts of urban planning, but also the specific principles of designing on the water's edge and successfully developing formal industrial sites into new considered living environments. As a closing to my presentation, I have included a short fly-through of Amsterdam's historical centre, showing the transition between the city centre and the north of the Eye River. The video gives an impression of what it's like to walk within the city and how close the unknown northern parts of Amsterdam are to its historical core. Thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed the presentation.